Hi there, cute viewer. Welcome to Catholics, where we get you good Christian stories. Have you ever wondered who is the shortest serving pope in the history of the papacy? It's not who you think it is. Keep watching to find out who he was, how long he served, and some of the best things he did, as well as some of his famous quotes. He was born in 1877 in a small village called Onano, Italy. His father was the ninth of 12 children, and from a young age, he showed great interest in religious matters and joined the Jesuit novitiate at the age of 13. But his journey to the papacy was a rather unusual one. He didn't become pope immediately after his ordination, nor did he hold any major church offices before his papacy. In fact, he wasn't even a cardinal when he was elected pope. In 1958, Pope Pius XII died, and the College of Cardinals gathered in conclave to elect a new pope. The cardinals were looking for someone who could continue the conservative policies of the previous popes and resist the growing influence of communism in Europe. After several ballots, they elected a relatively unknown cardinal named Angelo Roncalli, who took the name John XXIII. John was born on November 25, 1881, in the northern Italian city of Bergamo. He studied at the Pontifical Roman Seminary and was ordained a priest in 1904. He served as a diplomat in various countries, including France, Belgium, and Turkey. He was known for his intelligence, with an ability to get along with people from different cultures. John XXIII was a surprise choice for Pope. He was 76 years old, older than most of the cardinals, and had never held any major church offices. However, he was seen as a man of deep faith and strong character who could lead the church during turbulent times. After his election, Pope John XXIII wasted no time in making changes. He called for a council to update the church's teachings and practices. He also reached out to other world leaders, including Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev. He invited Khrushchev to visit the Vatican and expressed his hope for better relations between the church and the communists. Despite these overtures, however, relations between the Vatican and the Soviet Union soon deteriorated again. In 1962, Pope John XXIII opened the Second Vatican Council, which was the first major meeting of the Church since the Council of Trent in the 16th century. The council aimed to update the Church's teachings and practices for the modern world, and it marked a significant departure from the previous pope's policies. John was committed to reforming the Church and making it more relevant to the needs of people in the 1960s. He realized that the old ways of doing things were no longer effective and that the Church needed to change with the times. One of his most significant contributions was his encyclical letter titled Pacem and Terris, which called for peace on earth. In this letter, he addressed not only Christians, but all people of goodwill, urging them to work towards a peaceful and just world. He spoke out against war, violence, and oppression, and he called for dialogue and understanding among different cultures and religions. This was a bold move because it went beyond the traditional role of the Church as a spiritual guide and placed it firmly in the realm of international politics. He was basically saying that the Church had a duty to speak out on issues of peace and justice, and that all people, regardless of their beliefs, should strive for a better world. This message was particularly relevant during the Cold War, when the world was divided into two opposing camps and the threat of nuclear war loomed large. Another thing that Pope John XXIII did was to improve relations with other world religions. He sent Christmas and Easter greetings to the Patriarch of Constantinople, the leader of the Eastern Orthodox Church, a practice that had been discontinued by his predecessors. He also met with representatives of other faiths, such as Judaism and Islam, and he emphasized the need for interfaith dialogue and cooperation. However, his papacy was cut short by his health. He suffered from various ailments, including stomach cancer, and he died in 1963 at the age of 84. Despite his short tenure, he left a lasting legacy on the Catholic Church and the world. Now let's look at some of his famous quotes. The Holy Spirit, through the mouth of the prophet Isaiah, said of the Messiah, "He will be called a great mountain." And we have learned by now that mountains are a symbol of difficulties, obstacles, and problems. So Jesus, our Master and Lord, wishes us to know that if we wish to follow him, we must set out on a journey which demands that we climb a great mountain. Peace is not merely the absence of war and violence. Peace is the work of justice, the achievement of freedom, the creation of a community. We can understand the greatness of the mystery of the Incarnation when we reflect that for our sake, God assumed not only human nature, but also human history, our history. Love one another. If you want proof of what I have said, I give you the greatest example of all, the example of Christ himself, who has loved you so much that he gave himself for you. Well, that's all for today. Please like and share this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.